Okay, so from the previous episode, I was at a point of trying to figure out what to do with the engine in the Legnum. I was going to pull the sump off and get some numbers off of there, which would indicate what bearings I need, because each rod bearing isn't the same as the next. They vary from factory. You need to do some decoding to figure out what sizes to order. Just before I was about to do that, I had a friend reach out to me on social media and said, I happen to have another friend who's pulling one of these apart. So I jokingly asked, don't suppose he has a spare engine? Sure enough, he did. All of a sudden, I've paid $500 for a replacement engine. It's in Adelaide, which is quite a distance from here, which means I'll be waiting for a while for that to get shipped. So with nothing else to do with my time, I decided, well, guess I just better buy another project car. Step is I'd like to get this thing running. Before I do that, I'd rather clean up inside, because if I need to sit in there to start it, I don't want to have to deal with that being mouse house. So to start with, I'll need a mouse house removal tool, otherwise known as a vacuum, so I can get all of this out. Oh, it stinks too. I'm going to grab all of this stuff out. It doesn't need to be in here. I have no idea what all these silicone joiners are for, but I might be able to use them on something else. Oh man. Wow. What is this for? Who knows? What is this? Oh. Yeesh. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm cleaning up where the timing mark is. I'm going to put a fresh bit of paint on there so I can check the timing. So this is a 1971 TA22 Celica. It's the first generation of Celica released by Toyota. This one was in a town about 4 hours away and had been tucked underneath a house for close to a decade. I had to push it in here due to an impending cyclone. My intention is to drive it out, which means I'm going to have to get this thing to run. So first order of business is we'll have to get the bonnet up to have a look at the engine bay. And you'll need to move because this will block your vision. So, in order to get this running, we're just going to have to focus on the F.A.C.T.S. The F.A.C.T.S is just a simple acronym for fuel, air, compression, timing, and spark. We have those things, the car should run. But first, there's another job I want to take care of before I start any of that. Alright, so the first thing is these battery terminals need to go. Get this battery clamp out of the way. Sit there for now. Some kind of levered mechanism that's kind of broken and not good. Just going to take these off, get rid of them, and get something a little more user-friendly. That's new ones. Yeah. Yep, just to be different, 11mm. I don't know why. Now, while I'm at it, I'm going to get rid of this bit of extra wiring, and that leads to something else that I will show you shortly. Going to make for good contact. Okay, so the wire that I took off the battery was feeding power to a relay for this. Now, this is a electric fuel pump. It's known as a F.A.C.T.S pump, and seeing it up in the engine bay is a little bit confusing because they're not known for being suction pumps, and it's not going to be able to draw fuel from the tank all the way at the back. The previous owner said the fuel line was blocked, but it could just be that this pump here can't pull that fuel up from the tank. Also, being a 1971, the tank is found underneath the boot, so it's at a lower point, so it's also trying to draw fuel uphill. I find it much simpler if it's just running a mechanical pump. It's only got to go on a carburetor anyway. There's nothing wrong with mechanical fuel pumps. They've been working for decades and will continue to do so. So in the meantime, I'm going to unthread this power cable, take out the relay that it's wired into, take out the pump, and find out if the mechanical pump is dead. It's got a hose looping the inlet and outlet together. I'm guessing maybe that's why it's in here, is this has failed and they couldn't find a mechanical pump to replace it, so wait and see. This one. What else we got? Oh, this here going to the pump. Well, that comes off like that. very small there. Let's get some tools. Bye-bye relay. It wasn't even hose clamped on. Interesting. Blowing on this fuel line, I can hear it bubbling in the tank, which tells me this line's not blocked. Like the seller thought, it definitely was the F.A.C.T.S pump struggling to bring fuel up. Yep, that's clear. We might be in luck here. So just as a point of interest, I want to see if this mechanical fuel pump's any good. So I noticed they've just hooked up a line to loop the pump. Not sure why. We'll just cheat the system a little. Bottle of fuel here. It's way too big. Into a plastic bottle. Looking to see some fuel come out into this, hopefully. Well, that's our compression good. I mean, it is leaking, but it's probably because this hose is the wrong size. Bear with me. Well, I found some hose that isn't fuel line, but for the sake of this test, it'll do the job. That's a better fit. All right, aiming to see fuel in there. Well, that appears to be a working fuel pump. So why did they put a F.A.C.T pump in when there was nothing wrong with this mechanical pump? I don't get it. Yeah, it's working. Just going to take that bypass hose off, see if I can draw any fuel from the tank. Also, we'll discover whether that fuel from the tank is trashed or decent. I have a feeling it won't be very good. I mean, I can draw fuel through. It's coming up, but it's bloody awful. That hose doesn't fit too well. It's probably not suctiony enough. Switch out for this, see if it makes a difference. Okay, theory. If I can get this running, maybe the extra speed of the engine running will help the pump move quicker and actually create enough vacuum to pull fuel from the tank. So, guess we'll try that. A little bit of fuel with some 2-stroke oil in it. Squirt in there. It's way too much. Perfect. It runs, kinda. See if I can fill it from the vent tube here. Wants to live. I need a better home for that. Try that, I guess. It's blowing air out. Started pulling fuel, but didn't quite get there. Well, we got fuel out, and it's gross. Well, that's the facts pretty much taken care of. Fuel system needs a bit more work. Air we have, compression we have. Timing might need some adjustment. We definitely have spark. But that is the first time this thing's run properly in close to a decade. Well, that's probably enough for this episode. In the next one, I'll be aiming to have a better look at the fuel system, try and see inside the tank, get it all hooked up properly so it can run on its own fuel supply, and then attempt to see if I can get it to move. I'll probably clean up a bit of the untidy wiring and junk around the place that I don't really want. See you in the next one.